Welcome to the video review of Transformers Reveal the Shield G2 Optimus Prime. Now, many of you might not be old enough to remember the Generations 2 line that appeared in the early 90s, but this is actually a complete redo of the Generations 2 Laser Optimus Prime. If you don't know what Laser Optimus Prime is, I suggest you Google it, because it's actually a very cool toy, and was repainted in the Robots in Disguise to be Scourge. Scourge or Black Convoy in Japan. Probably one of my all-time favorite Transformers. So, this little truck here is a Peterbilt truck. It is in the style of the current movie Optimus Prime. The only issue I have with it in this mode is these little bits right here have a tendency to just flop up. There's nothing I can really do about that, but it's not a huge deal, but it's a little bit annoying. The shield symbol is right here at the top of the truck. Unfortunately, it is hidden in robot mode because of the nature of the transformation, which, why don't we get? So, the transformation is going to start off with, first off, we're going to actually come back here along the back of the figure and split the rear of the figure apart and pull out the trailer hitch, which I have to admit is a fantastic addition and a great way to store the weapon. So the weapon, which is his sword, is transformed thusly. Take the bottom of the trailer hitch and flip it around to form the hilt, then push the trailer hitch, physically push it up, slide it down to where the hilt would be, and then loop it around, and that forms the sword. A very nice sword indeed. I love this thing. My only complaint? I wish it was pink, just like the original toy, or red, as the original toy was. Unfortunately, mine has some paint on here, but a little bit of sanding will get rid of that. So, on to the rest of the figure. So now that we've done that, we're going to actually take these bits and fold them up. Then we're going to come in here and grab the inside of the cab and fold the door actually 90 degrees down, so that it looks more like a Stealth Force figure right now than anything else. Next, we're going to take the rear and push it down. Now, I like to do this. I just like to take the rear wheels and just fold them down as far as they will go, not all the way. That will allow you to come back in here and fold the gas tanks up flush against the back, and then fold them in and connect them together. I'll get into this part a little bit more later. It's actually very, very cool. So, following the typical transformation for the Laser Prime, we're going to take the front of the cab and split it open and pull it all the way out to the side, which will reveal the shoulders and the shoulder laser cannons. We'll reveal the head next, which we just push on the bottom part and flip the head up, then rotate the head around and then collapse it back down on the roof of the cab. Then we'll take the windows and fold them in. It's imperative that you remember to do that, otherwise you won't be able to transform the rest of it. Next, we'll fold the cab over the shoulders and then push the cab down, and that will lock into place snugly. Now we'll take care of the legs. For the legs, we'll come back here and take the black bits and fold them all the way over from the rear of from the back of the figure, or I should say the back of where the trailer hitch was, and fold them all the way around to the inside of the legs. And we'll do that for 4 separate panels, 2 on each leg. And you'll see why we do that here in a second. Now, this is probably my favorite part of the transformation. We're actually going to take the wheels and rotate them up towards the head of the figure. And the reason we're doing... this one always sticks a little bit. The reason we're doing that... I'll show you in a second. The reason we're doing that is because then we can take the wheels and actually slide them on these pegs in to form the rest of the leg. And it fills in the legs quite nicely. The only problem I have is a lot of times these pegs do not want to line up, even though they look lined up. I always have trouble with it. And as you can see, I'm just having trouble getting this one to even move. You do have to be a little bit tough on these bits. They never, especially these bottom ones, they never want to quite line up the way you expect them to or the way they're supposed to. But when you fiddle with it, you get it lined up. Last thing we're going to do is actually fold the feet out and fold down the heel spurs and fold the feet out. And here we have Transformers Reveal the Shield Generation 2 Laser Optimus Prime with a sword. Now, this figure is phenomenal. I know I use that word a lot, but this figure really is great. There are a few little flashings and a few little issues with the paint, but I can get around that, and that's always fixable. I just absolutely love this figure, and I have to admit, when I first saw the images, I didn't like it. But it's totally won me over. This is a case of a figure that I didn't like at first, but I'm completely won over now. Posability on the legs is okay. Unfortunately, he can't pose his knee very far because of the wheels. He's got plenty of, he's got a swivel joints, he's got pretty much full articulation in the legs. His feet are very articulated. They're on a ball joint, and then the ball joint is attached to a swivel joint for his ankle. So he's got a dual jointed ankle. And then you can take the heel spurs and actually bend them down a little bit to form, I guess, stands so you could get some interesting poses. The face is a prime, but I'm not sure from what series. It's okay. But it does have great light piping. I just wish I had a light here that I could better demonstrate it with. Hold on for a second. All right, well, I've got a flashlight, and I'm trying to get the light piping to work, and it's not working. So we'll have to forfeit on that one. But the light piping is really good, and it goes down the, well, that kind of works. And it goes down the sides or the front of his head and into his eyes. And you get, the way it's set up is, it looks like his eyes are glowing just in the insides while the edges of his eyes are just kind of lightly glowing. It's very, very cool. The amber glass and then the amber for the eyes is a nice touch. I would love to see a repaint of this guy as Scourge in all black and then red here and red eyes. I think that would be very, very cool. So, should you pick this one up? You know what? For nostalgia value, it's awesome. But other than that, it's a great figure. I mean, it's a great figure. You could get some really great poses out of this guy. And, oh, I almost forgot. You can actually store the sword. Remember I mentioned this part back here? Well, with just a little bit of finagling and a little bit of just getting things lined up, you can actually store the sword back here. Now, you could just, it's a little bit hard because of the way, there we go. There we go. But you could fully store the sword in his backpack, which is, that just makes me so happy. So, he's got a great accessory. He's got great posability. He looks good in both modes, and he's got a fun transformation. Yes, I think this one belongs on your shelf, and I think that you will really, really like this guy. So if you see it in your local Walmart, Toys R Us, Target, whatever, I would pick him up. He's definitely worth the $10, $12.